2018 Buick Encore, I believe it is. We got to do the oil cooler and housing for the oil filter. It's all one unit. It's right there. We got to pull the turbo, the cat, and the exhaust manifold because it goes up under all this. Gonna be great. Gonna love this job, but gotta get it done. It's for a good customer. We take care of our good customers. There's the part. That's what's got to be replaced. That unit. Got the manifold gasket also. First thing I'm going to do is get the intake tube and this coolant bottle removed. Work my way down to it. You do have to remove this piece of plastic to get to the bolts that hold that on. It's just a bunch of little pop clips. Pops it right out of there. All right, got some stuff removed so we can get down into here. This pipe is busted here, so I'm gonna have to replace this plastic housing. It's just so brittle I can squeeze it and it just breaks. I don't know if the coolant does something to this plastic or what, but that's getting replaced too. I unplugged a couple sensors I didn't say nothing about, but I'm going to, right now, there's a bolt right here for this band clamp that hooks this cat to the manifold. I'm going to loosen that up, and then I'm going to jack the car up and get below it and unbolt that and get that cat out of my way. See how she goes. Okay, we got the catalytic converter out of there now. There was this bolt and this bolt were a nightmare, 10 mils, but I got them. There's the cat out of the way. Now I'm going to concentrate on getting the oil feed and the coolant feed to the turbo disconnected from the turbo or the cooler, so that way I can remove this and get to that cooler. We're on our way. Okay, we got the oil line disconnected and the coolant line disconnected. I'm gonna start unhooking some of these hoses from the turbo itself, so when we unbolt this manifold, it will come right off with it. Let's get it done. Okay, everything is disconnected from the turbo now. I ended up pulling the wastegate because there's a bolt back in here for the manifold that the wastegate arm was just in the way for, so I got rid of that. I think we're ready now to pull this turbo and this manifold. I think I have everything disconnected, so I just got to get after all these rusty girls and pop this baby off. Wish me luck. All right, I got everything, all the bolts out of the manifold. I got one just loosely holding it there. There is a coolant line on the back of this thing. We undid the inlet, we got to do undo the outlet. It looks like it's a 18 mil. I'm not sure. I got to get underneath it and look up and see if I can get it from there. See what happens. Okay, turbo and manifold are out. That was a fucking nightmare. This is the line I was fighting with. I was trying to undo it from here, but the whole line's spinning with the nut, so that wasn't working. So then I had to go to this banjo bolt on the block of the engine. Plus, there was something else. Oh, oil drain I had to unhook while I was under there. Okay, but that's off. Now I can actually get the part off that I wanted to get off. I already unhooked the hose that goes from here to here. You guys didn't see that, but all the bolts are out of this. We should be able to pop this baby off of here. See if she'll just pop off of here. I don't know if I can set you guys up somewhere or not. I don't really have a tripod or anything, just using my phone here. She's wiggling. She's a skank. Nothing comes off this fucking car easy, dude. There she is. It's pulling out of her. That's what we've been trying to get after. That mother trucker right there, leaking ass biatch. Look at that nasty motherfucker. We're gonna have to clean that all up. That's where it's been leaking its oil this whole time though. Nasty, nasty. We'll get her all cleaned up before we put anything back together. I'm not working with this dirty old girl like this. She will be nice and clean when it goes back together. There we go. Got her all shined up. Everything clean. Got that housing off for the coolant there. Got to put that back on. Got the new one, just came in. She's all ready for reassembly. What a joke for the oil cooler. Whatever happened to 2 rubber hoses coming forward to a cooler up here? That worked way too good and lasted way too long. And they had to incorporate it into the fucking oil filter housing. You guys gotta be fucking retarded. Engineers, yeah. Okay, I got the water inlet housing or outlet housing or whatever it is there back in place. Sensor hooked back up, that intake tube hooked back up. That's all good to go. We won't hook any of the other hoses to the front of it until we actually get that cooler and everything else back in here. It just makes life a lot easier. It's in the way if I hook it up. I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and then when I come back, we'll finish this baby up. Okay, the new part, that's her. She's ready to go on. I put some grease on all the O-ring surfaces up in there also, so that everything slips together nicely. Let's get her installed, boys. All right. Cooler is installed, pipes hooked up. Time to get the turbo and manifold and all that happy horse shit back in here. Let's do it. Got that brand new gasket in there. All right, I'm looking at this turbo. This motherfucker's cracked. What the shit? That's crazy. You don't see the crack on the outside. Oh wait, do I? No, that's just a scratch. Huh. Weird, it's internally cracked, but not externally. Maybe that's normal? I don't know, you wouldn't think so. Well, I'm sure this thing will have turbo problems down the road. Can't seal right with that crack in it, right? It's right where the wastegate closes. I don't know enough about it. I know I'm changing this part. That's what's going on. Slap this thing back on there. It was working the way it was. It was not throwing a check engine. All right, we're moving right along here. I wanted to stop and show you guys this. Let me get my flashlight. This corner bolt down in there, in the bottom left, is a nightmare. You can't get anything on it, extension-wise, socket-wise. There's not enough room to get a ratchet in there. So I used a wrench on the last few turns, and on the beginning turns, I use this little doohickey. Hooks into a regular socket, and then I'm able to put a ratchet wrench on this, and that gets in there. You probably ain't gonna have that. You're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have to use an end wrench, open end wrench to do it. This is what I was talking about here. Got that doohickey on this inside corner bolt, and then I can run a ratchet wrench on the end of it. See what I mean? Much easier than trying to wrench it in by hand, but with the open end wrench. I use this to break it free and run it out so my ratchet wrench hits that hose right there. And then I took it out the rest of it with just an open end 10mm wrench. Yeah, that was a pain in the ass. And then behind this manifold, there's a coolant line and they're both coolant lines. One to the turbo, one that crosses behind there to the oil cooler. And those were the biggest pain in the ass also. If I did it again, I might separate the manifold from the turbo to make it a little bit easier. All right, she's all back together. I'm filling it up with coolant now, inspecting for leaks. I still got to drop the oil, change the oil. Might as well start with fresh everything here. And I probably got some contaminants down in the pan when I was cleaning everything, so a big open hole where that thing dumped in. But we're there. We're almost there anyway. I gotta drop the oil, change that, get that done. Put the bonnet belly pan piece back up under it. Fire it up, see if we got any leaks.